So we're going to talk about what is changing in GA4, not only the interface that you saw there, like I just mentioned, the user interface and the design is completely different. So you can see even just from the top image to the bottom image, the top one is the property settings for GA4, or Universal Analytics. The bottom one is GA4. So how GA4 tracks information is completely different than how we do it in Universal Analytics. So as an example, what we see right now in Universal Analytics, if someone is surfing your site at 11:59 p.m., and let's say, for example, your time zone for your Universal Analytics is set to Eastern time zone. If you are in Eastern time zone and you are surfing your site at 11:59 p.m. and the clock turns over to 12 a.m. the next day, guess what? That person has another session. Even though they really never left your site, Google times it out and treats it as another session. That's going to change in GA4. It will no longer end up being 2 sessions, it'll be 1. So fundamentally, how these two platforms, GA4 versus Universal Analytics, track the data is fundamentally different. So in other words, if you're trying to compare data from UA to GA4, literally it's like apples to oranges. It truly is. So you cannot really compare the two. Everything is rolled up to the property level now instead of reporting view level. So that's a real adjustment because there are things we do at the reporting view level now that are going to get moved to the property level. And that may sound like, it's a technicality, no big deal, but it really is sort of a challenge as we talk about migrating to the new platform. Certain features have also been removed and or are being updated. So as an example, goals, which we had in Universal Analytics in reporting views, are now called conversions, which I like that name, that's great, but just to avoid confusion, some nomenclature has changed, and so you gotta know where things are, but also how you do these things is a little bit different. So as I mentioned with goals now being called conversions, in addition to that, all goals have to be event-based. So if you've ever set up a goal in your reporting views in Universal Analytics, you'll remember that you have a couple of options, and one of those is like destination goals. And this is where, like, if I fill out a form and I hit submit and I get to like the thank you page, the thank you page would be my destination. And I would say, if people get to this page, then I know they completed the form. I know they did the goal. Those are going away. So in GA4, you've got to change those goals to become what we call event-based goals. Events being things like, I know they submitted a button, or they had submitted a form because they clicked this button, or this form submission processed properly. Those types of things are event goals, and so you're going to have to make some changes as you migrate over to GA4. I want to share with you what some of the benefits are of GA4. What is great about it? Because unfortunately when I talk about this, I have to talk about all these hard things. So why should we even bother? What's so great about it? There are great things, and there are great things to come. So what are they? Why are we making this migration? So some of the benefits. First of all, if you have apps, previously in Universal Analytics, your app tracking and your website tracking had to be separate. No longer. It is all together if you want it to be together. So that's really a very helpful thing. Another thing we really rely on as marketers is cross-platform tracking. These days, everyone's using their phone, they're using their desktop, they're going back and forth between devices. It makes it very difficult to track user behavior and, as marketers, really understand their customer journey. And so reducing cross-platform tracking issues is huge. It's a real help. There's easier conversion tracking setup, super simple compared to what it used to be in Universal Analytics. There's a free connection to BigQuery, which is really helpful for processing data and so forth. And then advanced reporting and awesome report visualizations. Just really the absolute best things about this for us as marketers, but we won't see the value of it today. It's going to take a little while. They have predictive analytics and lifetime value. This makes me giddy. It's going to take a little while to get there though, but eventually it's going to be really, really helpful for all of us.